Scary fables.
The smile of a serial killer. They say you never forget the moment you see real evil. For me, it was the night I saw his smile. I was working late, closing up the small gas station off Route 12, the kind of place where customers are rare after midnight. It was just me, the hum of the old fridge, and the neon sign flickering outside. At 2 a.m., the bell above the door jingled. He walked in, wearing a dark green coat, hair wet from the rain. His eyes were the first thing I noticed. Too bright, too calm. He smiled at me, and it felt like ice sliding down my spine. "Cold night," he said, voice soft, almost gentle. I nodded, forcing a polite laugh, ringing up his coffee and a pack of gum. He stood there, holding the coffee, not drinking it, just smiling. "You work here alone?" he asked, looking around the empty store. "Yeah, just me," I said before I could stop myself. His smile widened, teeth too white, too even, like they were carved into his face. He didn't blink, just stared at me, his eyes glinting under the flickering lights. "Must get lonely." I didn't respond, sliding his change across the counter, hoping he would leave. But he didn't. He just stood there, sipping his coffee, watching me. The minutes felt like hours. Finally, he left, the bell jingling as the door closed. I exhaled, trying to shake off the feeling that he was still there. The next night, he came back. Same time, same smile, buying nothing, just walking the aisles, hands brushing against the shelves, humming softly to himself. I tried to ignore him, but I could feel his eyes on me, watching, studying. "Why don't you smile more?" he asked, leaning against the counter. I didn't answer, pretending to read a receipt, but I could feel his gaze, heavy and sharp. "People should smile. It makes everything easier." He left, but I couldn't stop shaking. I locked the doors after he was gone, but it didn't help. I could still see his smile in the reflection of the glass, hovering over my shoulder. The third night, I called in sick, but as I lay in bed, I saw headlights outside my window, stopping for too long before moving on. My phone buzzed with an unknown number, and when I answered, there was only breathing on the other end. Slow, deliberate. That night, I dreamed of his smile, wide and hungry, stretching until it split his face open. When I went back to work, I found a small Polaroid on the counter. It was of me, taken through the window, unaware, tired, vulnerable. On the back, in neat handwriting, was a single word: smile. I reported it, but the police just nodded, saying they would keep an eye out. But nothing changed. He kept coming, standing outside the glass at 2 a.m., tapping lightly, smiling, waiting. I started seeing him everywhere. At the grocery store, at the gas pump, across the street from my apartment, always smiling, always watching. Once, I caught a glimpse of something under his coat, a flash of metal stained dark. I tried to leave town, but when I stepped outside, he was standing by the driver's door, holding another Polaroid, this time of me sleeping. "Going somewhere?" he asked, his smile never wavering. I backed away, running inside, locking the door, calling the police again. They came, but he was gone, and they found nothing. They told me to stay calm, but how could I? Now, I don't leave the apartment. I see him in the hallway, standing by the mailboxes, smiling up at the camera, waving. Sometimes I hear a knock at the door at exactly 2 a.m., soft and patient. Last night, I woke up to find him standing in my room, the smile wider than ever, a blade glinting in his hand. "Smile," he whispered, pressing the knife to my cheek, carving upwards, slow and careful, until I felt the blood running down my neck, warm and thick. Now, I can't stop smiling. My face is frozen, the skin pulled tight by the stitches he left behind. Every night, he comes back to admire his work, sitting in the corner, humming softly, smiling as he watches me. They say you never forget the moment you see real evil. But what they don't tell you is that once you've seen it, it never lets you go.
Another scary fable told, another night survived. For daily eerie stories and unsettling fables, like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you'll be ready for tomorrow's tale.